John speaking.
Good evening, John. It's Neil Waters here from the Thylacine Awareness Group.
Hello Neil, how you doing?
Very good, thank you, mate. Is it now a good time to chat?
Yeah, that's fine, mate. You've actually got me at a good moment. I'm child free and I've got a couple of minutes, so that's good.
Excellent. Is it okay if I record our conversation, mate?
Yeah, that's fine.
Excellent, no worries. And it's okay if I put it out on YouTube for people to have a listen to later on?
Yeah, all good.
Awesome. John, thank you very much for reaching out. How long ago did you email? Not very long?
No, it was only last night actually.
Oh, excellent. So the system's working well.
Yeah.
I'm actually on holidays in New South Wales at the moment myself, and so I haven't been getting to emails as quick as I should because I've just been too busy relaxing.
No, that's what you need to do when you're on holidays.
That's it. Echo Point, is that up in the Blue Mountains there, near Katoomba up there?
It is, yeah. It's it's been a while since I've been there, but when I was younger, I used to holiday there a fair bit with my parents. So yeah, you've got the all around Echo Point there near the Three Sisters and Katoomba area.
Well, that's where Rex had his sighting back in the 70s when he was driving at night.
Yeah, I'm actually not familiar with that, which is strange because I know Rex, and when Mum and I saw what he saw, we actually went and spoke to him because he had his little shop there at Echo Point.
Yeah, right. So it was right there.
No, it wasn't right. Well, his shop was there, but it wasn't there where we had the sighting.
Oh, okay.
It was actually back down near towards Leura. But yeah, because we didn't know who else to. I was only 15 at the time.
Yeah.
I had no idea who else to report it to. But we'd seen Rex's shop and whatnot, so I went and spoke to him and told him about it. And he was just quite blasé. And I remember him saying that his dad had seen things, but I don't ever remember him talking about his sighting.
Yeah, right. Okay. Rex is no longer with us. You know that?
Oh no, I didn't know that. No,
Yeah.
I was actually watched a documentary on him that was on TV a little while ago. I didn't know that he'd gone.
Yeah. Sadly, he passed away in April 2023.
Okay, yeah, right.
And I actually went up to meet his wife Heather a little bit later that year because she had a whole heap of historical thylacine documentation from South Australia that I'd actually been looking for about 9 years.
Yeah, right.
And by chance, when he passed away, she found me and decided that I should have this stuff that was once in his museum, and lo and behold, it was all the records that I'd been looking for. So
excellent. Yeah,
fate has a funny way of catching up with you sometimes. But I went up there and met Heather and paid my respects, and yeah, it was quite a good meeting, catching up with her, even if it was unfortunate times. But he certainly made a huge contribution.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, and with a whole range of things, and actually the documentary that I just mentioned that I watched, he had so much stuff, that he collected over the years, the paperwork.
You should have seen the books. The books, I never saw inside the shed, I just saw inside the house. The amount of books he had was phenomenal.
Yeah, right.
It was wall to wall, floor to ceiling, every room, piles and piles and piles of books. So much stuff. Anyway, without further ado, let's hear your story. What happened? You said it happened over a couple of nights.
Yeah. So it was. It happened, when I was what am I now? 54. So this happened back when I was 15.
Yeah.
And so I'm just walking around, just got to take some stuff off the stove and whatnot.
So it's like 1989 or something?
No, it would have been 86.
86, okay, yeah.
And I was actually doing photography at school at the time, so I was writing about photography, and I was staying up with Mum in a caravan. There was a little caravan park that they used to have up there, not too far from where they've got the touristy spot there. But this particular night I said to Mum, oh, can we go down and I'll take some photos of the, I think it was the Leura Cascades at night because they're floodlit. And, Mum said, yeah, no problem. So it was a cold night, but we went anyway. It was May, actually, so it was, yeah, it would have been definitely cold. And we drove down, we took a few photos at night with the floodlit cascades, hopped back in the car and drove back up the range coming out from the cascades. Only going slowly, Mum wasn't a real fast driver and it was dark. And then straight from the left-hand side came this animal, which you would have thought was a dog, originally. But as soon as you saw it, you knew that it wasn't. And I remember Mum saying at the time, "What is it?" And I was so excited. I know that I've not seen anything like it. But I knew what it was, but I kept saying, it's a Tasmanian devil, it's a Tasmanian devil, but it was, obviously a Tasmanian tiger, so.
Yeah, sure.
It was, I was so excited, I actually had the camera in my hand, and tried to take a photo of it, because it stood there in front of the car, just staring at the car for, enough time for me to be able to do that, maybe up to a minute or so.
Yeah.
And I tried taking a photo, but it reflected off the inside of the windscreen.
Ah, okay, yep.
And when I realised that had happened and the animal started to move, I actually jumped out of the car, and it was only a narrow road. As it was going, trying to get up into the bush on the other side, I was silly enough to try to chase it. I only got to the road's edge and thought, no, this is crazy, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And it went off. There was an old house up on the hill not too far from there.
Right.
And Mum actually took us back the next day, and we asked the lady, we noticed that the lady had chickens, and we said, oh, do your fowl ever go missing? And she said, oh yeah, she said they go all the time, the foxes around here are terrible. And it was sort of in that direction that this thing was heading.
Right, okay.
So the second night, because I was saying to Mum, if we can get a photograph of this, it's just going to change everything, I'll become rich and
yeah.
And that's it.
You're not the first person to think that, mate, let me tell you.
It's going to be great for conservation, like these things are still here.
Yeah.
And,
well, 1986 was actually the year they were declared extinct.
Oh, was it? Yeah, right.
Quite falsely, obviously, but go on.
Yeah. So I said to Mum, look, we've got to go back. And so the next night it was the same as, like cold sort of night. And thinking that we would never ever see this again. There was an old restaurant up there called Fork and View. And it's on your way down to the Leura Cascades. The restaurant was up on the left-hand side, and over on the right-hand side, I'm just trying to picture it and go back. There's some sort of little monument or some sort of little flat area before it just drops over into the steep drop off back down into the valley.
Yeah.
As we came around that corner, there was two of exactly what we'd seen the night before, just standing there. It was just amazing, they only stayed there for a short, maybe, I don't know, so it would have been seconds, but long enough for us to see them. There was one slightly larger, one slightly smaller, and they just turned and walked back down through this, I couldn't really see because it's a drop off, over the edge, and that was it.
So it was roughly 24 hours later that you saw
exactly
two different ones together, and one of them was slightly bigger than the other.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So I reckon you probably saw the male on the first night,
Right.
and then the female, a juvenile, the second night. If you don't think you saw the same animal twice.
Yeah, I couldn't be sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah, couldn't be sure. And you know, like as I said, I'm going to try to pull the memory going back a long way. But it was clearly, as I said earlier, you know, like I've never seen anything like it. The colour and then the stripes, you know, going from halfway down the back sort of thing. Clearly wasn't a dog or anything else, you know.
Yeah.
And it quite, you know, like I remember looking at it at the time and saying it had a really weird looking, sort of like a weird looking bum area, you know, and it's a tail like a kangaroo, I suppose you'd describe it.
Yep.
So that was that night, and I think we were up there for about a week or more, and we did everything the same night, you know, like driving back down, up and down this little valley sort of thing, you know, for a couple of hours, you know, like never ever saw it again. Yeah, I just thought, well, you know, I've been sitting on it for so long. I've often spoken to it about, you know, with family and a few close friends. But I've never made anything official. And I was just sitting around the other night. And I thought, well, I really should, you know, like talk about this and get it out there. So yeah, hence the email last night.
Excellent. Now, when you saw the first one, how far from the vehicle was it?
Oh, geez, it would have been no more than it'll be lucky to be 30 metres in front of us.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It was, because it was so dark and it's a windy road, and Mum, you know, like being an older lady at the time, she was only driving slowly, so, you know, if anybody had been screaming down there, you would have hit it. But we were only going very slowly, and that's maybe why it came out without, you know, I don't know whether it hurt the vehicle or what, but yeah.
It certainly wasn't worried about the vehicle.
No, and it was very close, and it stared straight at us, you know, like into the headlights, and had a good look before it just wandered off again.
Do you recall anything about the colour or the locomotion or maybe the colour of the eye shine or anything like that?
No, I don't recall eye shine, colour or anything. To me, the colouring would have been similar to colouring and sizing actually would have been similar to an Alsatian dog, and then with the stripes, they were you know, dark stripes. Yeah. And getting darker down towards the back.
How many seconds do you think you saw it for, roughly?
Look, it felt like it up to a minute. You know, thinking about it, it probably might have been 30 seconds or so.
Yep.
But as I said earlier, you know, like it was there long enough for me to. I had the camera in my lap. I tried to take a photo of it.
What sort of camera did you have at the time?
It was a Ricoh SLR. Still got
a pretty good camera for the day.
Yeah. But it had a great big whopping flash on it. It just reflected everything from the, you know, from inside the windscreen.
So all you got was a photo of the flash on the windscreen.
That's right. Yeah. And it was a slow film that was in there because I was using a tripod set up to
photograph
these pictures of the waterfall.
So you would have had to have stood still for about 5 seconds to get a shot.
Yeah, that's right.
Mate, only
I remember the next day going to a shop in Katoomba there, a photo shop, and buying you know, like a very fast film to try to
make sure you got it next time. Yeah. Only a thylacine would present itself when you've got a camera ready, but the worst possible conditions to take a photo.
Yeah.
And the worst possible aperture and speed of the film as well, you know.
I think it's Murphy's Law.
Yeah, it is. It is. But good on you for having a go, mate, especially as a 15-year-old kid. That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. And look, I'm actually, Mum's in a home now, but I know she used to diarise everything.
You didn't put the photos of the windscreen in there as well and say, here's the Thylacine?
No, I don't think so. I'll have to pull it out and have a look actually, but I'm in the process of trying to find Mum's diary to see what she actually,
did write about it, yeah.
Night, so, yeah.
Did you talk about our photography when you got back to school, and or you were worried about getting ridiculed?
I don't remember actually. I was going to a boys' school at the time. I just started a private boys' school that year,
right?
Which I couldn't stand. So yeah, I doubt
you probably wouldn't have. Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not the first person who sat on a story for 30, 40 years or more and then decided to suddenly come out and talk about it. I've had a few people like yourself over the years.
Yeah, and back, when I was younger, I used to, do a little bit of reading around them and that sort of thing. And, I've always wondered, why was it that we saw this on the mainland when everything I've ever read said that they were never here?
Well, I can answer that for you if you like.
Yeah.
Because science is a lie, and it's been dribbling shit for a very long time about this animal. That one thing I would bet my life on, basically. The same person that wrote the extinction paper was the same person that decided suddenly about 25 years ago we owe it to the Thylacine to clone it and bring it back.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the same person that was in charge at the Australian Museum when over 2,000 specimens went missing from the collection as well,
Yeah, right.
So, but nothing to see here, folks,
No.
Professors don't do things wrong, they're all good, honest people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's how they got to be professors,
I just, when I was reading about this just a little while ago, it was like, they said that, I thought they originally got extinct back in 1900, what was it, 1912 or...
1936, the last one in Tasmania, died in a zoo, but extinction has to be 50 years after, so 1986 is the actual extinction date. But the mainland has been this bizarre situation where they claim they've never had a specimen handed in to prove that it was ever here, in recent times, but I don't even believe that. I think that's bullshit as well, because there's a lot of rumours about them being handed in, especially in Queensland, to universities and National Parks and Wildlife Service officers finding them and then being told they never found anything and all that sort of stuff. Excuse me. So, yeah, look, officially they haven't been on the mainland for 2,500 years, roughly. But, try telling that to the 5,000 plus people who've seen them on the mainland. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I would, if they had lie detector tests and that sort of thing, that you could guarantee that somebody was telling the truth 100% or lying 100%.
You'd happily take one.
I would be jumping on it straight away and saying, here, test me.
Yeah.
Because I can say what I saw, and Mum and I spoke about it often over the years, so it wasn't just me.
No, it's a special thing that you share with your mum, mate, I suppose, It's...
Yeah, exactly. For a lot of years, unfortunately, she can't remember it now. She's got the old bloody, Alzheimer's going on.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, up until just a couple of years back, she could always remember it. So yeah.
Part of a special club, mate. Special club.
That's right. Yeah, definitely.
And all power to you, I say. I mean, I've seen a couple of them in Tassie. I filmed one with a thermal camera a couple of years ago, and I know damn well how big it was, and people were trying to tell me it was a quoll, but it was, it was nearly 600 mil high at the hips. It's no quoll, it's a bloody big quoll.
Yeah, no, exactly. This, as I said, when...
You know what you see.
Yeah, that's right. The closest thing I could describe it to would be the size of a dog. An Alsatian sort of thing.
That's a decent size.
Yeah, and it's and it wasn't just that the one sighting. Like when we came back down the second night, there was the two of them. So I we saw.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. We have some evidence to suggest that the male will do a kill, and the female and the joeys might be 12 hours or a day behind him. So if he does a kill, he'll rip the throat out and drink all the blood, and he'll leave the kill there for her, and she'll come along and she'll take the lungs out and then remove the head.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if she's got pouch young, or she can't hunt because of the amount of young that she's got, it's and I think it's a reasonable theory, because we've got about 3 or 4 examples of these animals with their throats ripped out, and you come back a day later and their head and the lungs are missing, sort of thing. It's like they're working together as a team, but not together all the time. They travel alone, sort of thing. This is why they're so elusive. They're very solitary animals. But I mean, the Blue Mountains has got lots of unusual things happening in it to this day. You know, there's
Look, I mean, it's. I was talking to my wife last night, just because I said to her, look, I'm going to email this guy and finally get this out there. And she said, well, yeah, look, do it. Like there's the Australian bush is, and the wilderness is so much of it that's just dense, thick scrub. Like it's God knows what could be out there.
We were driving around the Blue Mountains yesterday and today, and looking down the gullies, down the valleys, and it's like, no one's walked down there since the Aboriginal people were walking down there, basically. It's that thick and so remote and inhospitable. You'd be mad to go wandering around in there. You rolled an ankle in there, you'd be history.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
A lot of country. And that was sort of in the northern part, where were we today? Can't even remember that. Out past Glenorrey, canoe lands out that way, and just amazingly thick bush, and as far as the eye can see, there's just nothing but trees. So
yeah, right.
Could hide an elephant in there.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you staying there?
I'm not sure where we are at the moment, but we're not far from Glenorrey. We're about half an hour from there, because that's where we organise the accommodation where we are at the moment. So
okay. I was going to say, if you get the chance, if you're around Katoomba or Leura, if you take that road down to I'm pretty sure it's called Leura Cascades.
Okay.
That would be the road that we saw them on.
Yeah, cool. Well, if we get a chance, we'll have a look.
Yeah.
But there's always next trip.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Look, I hope I would love for someone to just get some photographic evidence and prove that they're out there, and then work out that if they are, what can we do to keep them there.
I think the best thing we could probably do to protect them is just stop using 1080 poison baits. That would be all they need us to do, really. They can handle it from there.
Yeah, true. I haven't thought about that before, but yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah.
A whole heap of goodwill and good gestures from good intended people usually turns into a shit fight. So, the biggest threat to our wildlife is the way we don't manage it properly, by just poisoning everything instead of shooting the ferals. We aerial bait poison baits all over the country willy nilly, and hope for the best. That's the science, yeah. Let's just poison everything, and the off-target damage is horrendous. So, until I think this thing's going to stay extinct until we're well and truly ready to protect it properly. Then it might stick its head out. So, hopefully, I get to live long enough to see that. But they're certainly not going to clone one in a hurry. That's for sure.
No, hopefully not.
Yeah, that's all bullshit. That's just a cover story for some other sinister plan they got going on.
Yeah.
I would say.
They don't need to clone it. They're still out there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, look, thank you very much for your email, John. I'm glad I've helped you get that off your chest after 40-something years.
Yeah, no.
49 years.
Thanks for your
39.
It's strange, Look, it's when this happened, I was right into it for years, and then it's life gets busy, you get older, you get kids, you get married, all that sort of stuff, and it sort of just sits there in the background. But I'll have to pick it up and get right into your site and see what's going on.
Yeah, have a look at the website. The website's got some great information on it. I haven't updated it for a few years, but it's still got some really relative good stuff on there. And our YouTube channel's got over 200 interviews on it now. There's heaps of stuff on the YouTube channel. There's nearly 300 videos on there of bits and pieces.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to have a look at that too.
Yeah, no worries. But we find, you know, kangaroos with their heads missing regularly all over Australia. That's nothing unusual. And they do. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, is that what they're known for, like a way that they hunt?
Yeah, they are known to do that in the anecdotal notes from Tasmania, from the observations of, you know, the trappers back in the day. Or they sometimes go in under the chest and under the ribs and remove the lungs that way, but they'll take the blood-filled organs and leave the rest. They're very wasteful. So the story was the Thylacines in Tassie used to follow the blackfellas on their migrations, and then the devils would follow the Thylacines because the Thylacines wasted so much, and they'd just clean up the rest. So there was a bit of a symbiotic relationship between the people and the animals, I believe. I mean, who knows, the people might have followed the Thylacines and got a free feed as well. If times were tough or it was hard to hunt for some reason. But yeah, they definitely remove the heads of their prey most of the time. And they have very large front feet. The adult males have a very large front foot, it's about 4 1/4 inches wide, and with a big fifth digit that seems to present sometimes on a soft substrate, and it sort of sits off like a opposable thumb almost.
Yeah, I remember reading about that and seeing. I remember at Rex's, you know, the shop that he had at Katoomba, he had
some plaster casts.
Plaster casts and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we've got them from WA and South Australia, and Victoria and Tassie and Queensland, and they're identical. Like the prints are identical, so it's either a very well swimming dog that goes across Bass Strait every year, or the same breed of dog is in every state of Australia from time to time, you know. So awesome. All right, mate.
I'll tell you what, if I come across Mum's diary, which I'm you know, definitely going to try to find.
Yep.
I'll scan that, you know, whatever she's got written down and send it through to you.
That'd be awesome. I'd appreciate that. I'd really appreciate it. That'd be great.
Yeah. All right. Now, look, thanks very much for the call, and yeah, keep up the good work, and thanks for getting in touch with us so quick. I thought it'd be ages since I heard from you.
Sometimes it can be, but I'm on the ball tonight.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You're exactly in the right area too.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Thank you very much.
All right. Cheers. Thanks for the call. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.